morning. I am Pete Calderon. Thank you for joining us here in Kerrville, the pride of the Texas Hill Country, right? Yes. I'm an 18-year Kerrville State Hospital employee where I serve as Community Relations Assistant Director. I'm sixth-generation Kerrville native, a graduate of Tybee High School, and attended St. Philip's College in San Antonio, and then the University of Texas in San Antonio. My wife is Amanda Calderon, who is a licensed professional counselor at Kerrville State Hospital. I was just telling Mr. Alvarez we stole her from him. My son Joaquin is 9 in the 3rd grade and attends Tally Elementary. When people would always ask my wife and I if we were going to have any more kids, the answer was always no. We knew we wanted one. The Holy Family's 3, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. If that's good enough for Jesus, is good enough for us. That normally ended those conversations. I'm the youngest of 7 children, 4 boys and 3 girls. I've seen firsthand the hard work and sacrifices of owning your own business. My dad, who didn't read, nor did he write, with the help of my mom, managed to have a great, successful bar business, the Cantina. He did that for 45 years. The bars were on Francisco Lemos Street. That was the barrio back then. I was raised in that bar. I worked in that bar. I saw how hard my parents worked to provide for a family with 7 children. If my parents would have attended the Governor's Small Business Series, that might have been different, maybe even better. Governor's Small Business Series provides small business owners and aspiring entrepreneurs with timely, relevant, actionable advice on how to start, operate, and sustain their business. The event features private and public small business resources, practical solutions, best practices, and expert assistance on a broad range of business topics and challenges. It's an opportunity to network with other entrepreneurs, business owners, managers, business-oriented nonprofits, and as well as local, regional, state, and federal agencies. For more than a decade, these events have supported the initiative of the governor to make Texas the #1 place for small business. At this time, I'm going to introduce Julian Alvarez III. He's a commissioner representing labor of Texas Workforce Commission. As a labor commissioner, Julian Alvarez represents the interest of more than 14 million Texas workers with respect to TWC services and ensures that the concerns are considered in all commission actions. Prior to his appointment by Governor Greg Abbott in March of 2017, Commissioner Alvarez served as president and CEO of the Rio Grande Valley Partnership, fostering relationships and coordinating programs to advance regional economic development and employment opportunities. He also serves as the Texas Regional Director for U.S. Senator Kay Bailey Hutchinson. He was advising on legislative and policy issues related to South Texas. Prior to that, Alvarez served as the South Texas Drug Task Force as a state trooper for the Texas Department of Public Safety. After his service with DPS, Alvarez inspired stewardship and leadership as the Director of College Information for Texas State Technical College in Harlingen. A graduate from Texas A&M University, he is also a retired Southland Conference collegiate football referee. Where do you find the time with all of this? Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Julian Alvarez.
So do I have to use a mic? Or can you all hear me? Yes. Because if I stand behind the podium, you may not be able to see me. I always make sure that wherever I speak, the podium's not taller than I am. So good morning, everyone. What a great morning. What a great way to spend Thursday morning and to be here in Kerrville, Texas. So what I'm going to do is share with you how us and the governor's office have been working jointly and collectively to kind of promote all the great things that have been happening in this great state of ours. I don't know if you guys were aware of this, but during the pandemic, 70 companies came to this great state of ours. 70 global companies. And why were we able to do that? Because of programs like this. Forums like this allow us to meet with stakeholders, finding out what is it that we really need to do. Now, you couldn't get a company like Amazon, SpaceX, Oracle, or some of those companies to come over to us, or Killdeer. You couldn't get them to come over here unless we had a skilled workforce. Many of the initiatives that have come into my office or to the governor's office have been having discussions with you all about what are our priorities? What are the skills needed to be successful in our community? There have been a lot of great things that have been happening in this great state of ours. Let me share with you some of the things that we've done collectively with the governor's office to promote economic development. See, because that's workforce development. So let me just share with you what we've been doing. Just recently, I was in Chicago, and they wanted to know, what is it that you all are doing to be able to attract those 70 companies or those multiple companies that are coming in, not only from the United States, but globally. And again, I was mentioning about the skilled workforce. But we had to start looking and tapping into those disenfranchised populations. And folks like you all made those recommendations. For example, we now are training individuals that are severely disabled or have a mild disability. We're training them as pharmacy technicians at CVS Pharmacy. Were you aware of that? People that are visually impaired right now are actually going through training that are visually impaired, working as pharmacy technicians. Now you may say to yourself, I've been to a CVS Pharmacy and I've never seen someone at the box store that's visually impaired. This is just one example. But next time you call that 1-800 number and you want to know if you can take a prescription drug in the condition you're in, let's say you're pregnant, you want to know if you can take this medication, you may be talking to somebody who we trained on our dollar, who's probably working from the convenience of their house. Or how about those individuals that have been formerly incarcerated who right now as we speak, we're training behind bars at Huntsville Prison. Those individuals right now, with the help of you all, received a JET grant, Jobs Education for Texas, which right now we're working with Gilbert Salinas and Julie and her staff, and soon with the school district, making sure that your schools get the equipment needed for those immediate job openings that are in your community. And so those are Jobs Education for Texans. These are free. This is free equipment for you all. And then let's talk about, again, like I was saying, that CDL simulator, that these prisoners behind bars are actually getting a certification so that when they are released into the public, nonviolent, these individuals will be working, driving our trucks for the Budweiser distributorships or other logistical companies that are out there. See, we need them. It's up to you if you want to hire them. But here are some of the advantages of hiring somebody who's either transitioning out of foster care, people with a disability, as I mentioned earlier, those individuals that have have transitioned out of the military service, or those that have been in our prison system. And that is, we provide tax credits to the employers if you hire them. Oh, and did I mention that we also provide fidelity bonding? If you take the chance of hiring somebody who's been formerly incarcerated, we provide those services at no expense to you. Now, I was speaking earlier to our MC about one of the newest programs that we did because of this tranche of money that we've received from the federal government. And I'm talking about over $4 billion that we've received from them, specifically to tend to our young kids. Our young kids, child care. The future of this great state of ours. These are the kids that when we go to work, we drop them off. And here in Kerrville, we have top quality TRS providers in this community. Your kids are going to learn their colors. They're going to know how to read. They're going to know how to write. They're ready for school. You all do some of the finest work in this town, preparing our young kids. But how do you attract a company to come to this great state of ours? And last night at dinner, we were talking with Ricardo and Jarvis about we now allow, through TRS provider, Texas Rising Star, our funding that is transferred through the federal government, we now allow boards in our areas to award institutions, businesses to have on-site child care. On-site child care. Who does that? On our dime. We will pay for the tables and the equipment and the software and the computers. As a matter of fact, we're going to pay for the toys and 3 months of salaries for those people that are going to be working there. What a service is that? How could you not come to this great state of ours with all the things that I'm referencing and all the things that we've done? Something that we do different that other states don't do too is during the legislative session, which by the way, you have some of the finest state reps and senator in this community. Thank them next time you see them. Thank them. Because we are one of the only states, if not the only state in the country, that allows us to have, I mentioned earlier, the JET grant. That's equipment that's in your schools for training. And then you have the Skills Development Grant, which is what we awarded to Killdeer, thanks to the help of the Chamber and the EDCs and the folks that run the city. We provided them with a grant that would allow us to train their incumbent workers or their future workforce staff or employees. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, just Friday, our unemployment numbers continue to dip. We're continuing to improve. We're almost at where we were prior to the pandemic. In some places like here, we're lower than the state average. See, the unemployment right now is 4.0. Prior to the pandemic, we were 3.7. How amazing. You know that we have more job openings right now than we have job seekers? Now that is what puts us in that bind. Now I was in one of the hospitals' healthcare systems, and I met with CEOs of hospitals, and they were asking me, man, you gotta help me with our nursing shortages. Ladies and gentlemen, as we speak, we are this close right now to actually having an apprenticeship nurse implemented in the great state of Texas. No one else is doing it. These apprenticeship programs that I'm going to reference are a very important training component of this great state of ours. You see, we are in one of the finest institutions of higher ed in China University. But don't get me wrong. And some people might get upset. But to be successful in this great state of ours, you can possess a 4-year degree, or you can possess certifications, an associate degree, or an industry-recognized credentials. Do not discourage young kids to be a truck driver, or a welder, or HVAC, or construction. Encourage those kids, because what we've done in Texas has made it possible for these kids who start off at Alamo College, the college that you have here, or through dual credit programs that you have in your schools, to articulate to higher ed so that these kids someday will graduate from this institution. Who does that? Who's doing that around the country? When Governor Abbott charged us, working closely with the EDC office to make sure that TEA, K through 12, higher ed, anyone after high school, remember what I said, anyone after high school is considered college. And Texas Workforce Commission to work together, what a great marriage it was. What a great marriage. Remember, we handle those kids that are in pre-K. We serve 132,000 kids every day so that parents can go to work and children can go to school. 132,000 kids a day and growing every day. What a marriage. So we're making it possible that when someone starts and before they go and declare an endorsement route, and I saw in your program, you're going to be talking about cyber and business. That's what kids want. Are we listening to the young population, offering them the programs that are going to make them interested in going back to school or continuing their education? Just a couple of weeks ago, I had the ability to roll out an initiative that's going to fit perfect with this community. Because I've had conversations with Gilbert Salinas, your EDC director, which, by the way, we're very sad you all took him. Because I don't know if you know this, but this gentleman brought SpaceX to Texas. And how happy we were that it was in Brownsville, where now my dad has a job, who used to be at the cantinas at his dad's bar. How cool is that? For us to be able to talk about the great things that this great state of ours has. No wonder we get asked to go everywhere. So I'll leave you with this. These apprenticeship programs that we've implemented are very important to us. And since 2016, we've actually increased those various careers that are out there in apprenticeable occupations. For example, we as an agency have assisted with the with the IT and cybersecurity apprenticeship programs. We now have it in healthcare. We are right now, like I said earlier, we are now working on an apprenticeship nurse where a student can graduate as a medical assistant from your school. And hopefully we'll get them paid through his hospital from day one. When they graduate 18, an employer is going to commit to hiring them, and now we got them on payroll. And as an agency, let us tell you something else that we did that nobody else in the country did. We had reserve WIOA funding of $10 million that was sitting there. And I asked my fellow commissioners, could we use the $10 million to do something that we've never done? And that is have students that are interested in the nursing program get paid to do clinical work. That's never happened. That's what keeps students from going to school, is that they don't get paid to do clinical work. We as a state now are making that possible. So ladies and gentlemen, I only get 5 or 10 minutes to talk to you. But there are so many great things that are happening in this great state of ours. Thank the governor. Thank your leaders that are members of the community that make those decisions. Pray for them, because we're continuing to do great work here in this great state of ours. And let me tell you, every time I go to a community, I want to make sure that I spend my money. So I'm looking for a donut shop. I just love eating donuts. I guess you all heard I used to be a highway patrolman, and I saw that some of the guys like Brad from the chamber and some of the other folks that we were talking to earlier laughed when I told them I used to be a highway patrolman, right? They said, God, 5'5", you were a highway patrolman? I said, well, from the knees down, I'm a pretty dangerous cat. So just so you know. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to be here today. I'm so grateful for the great things that are happening in this great state of ours. As referenced earlier, I do represent the interests of 14.5 million working Texans. We are the second largest labor force in the country. Thank your leadership for what they do. Thank the governor's office for what they do to make programs like this possible, so that we can inform our community about all the great things that not only we are doing, but how we are working closely with businesses to make sure that we all succeed. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alvarez. Now I'm going to introduce Ricardo Canova. He's the regional representative of Central Texas region within Texas Economic Development and Tourism Office of the Governor's Office. Originally from California, Ricardo is a recent addition to the Texas Economic Development and Tourism Division, having served over the last 10 years assisting businesses in the workforce development and apprenticeship. He earned his bachelor's degree in business from Cal State San Bernardino, say that 3 times, and his master's in theology from Vanguard University. We welcome the Governor's Office and Ricardo Canova.
I'll try to be like Julian. Can y'all hear me all right? Yes. All righty. Good morning. How are y'all doing? Good. All right. Do I have the y'all down enough? No? It doesn't sound good? Good. All right. Well, yes, the cat is out of the bag. As you all know, I was born and raised in California, Southern California. In fact, I did go to the Harvard of the West, San Bernardino. It is a mouthful. And then I went to University of Southern California, Vanguard, to get my master's in theology, which all led me to moving to the great state of Texas, which my family and I love. California, yeah, right? It really, I know, I have to start it with that. Anytime they hear like, oh, California, and then that'll kill a room. So I have to get that context, like, hey, we moved here because of Texas, all right? Y'all don't get it. Who was born in Texas, raise your hand. Who was not born in Texas, raise your hand. Y'all get it then. There's a whole bunch of y'all get it, right? So yes, first off, because I will forget, we would like to thank, really, Julian, thank you for everything you do. Gilbert, thank you so much for everything y'all do. And thank you to our sponsors, HEB and Texas Iberico. Without y'all, we could not make this happen. So can we get a round of applause for that, please? Thank you. And another thing, Brian, I don't appreciate y'all putting me after that speech right there. So not cool. That was great. Because I've done everything in the world, and here's Ricardo from California. Have fun. So I don't want to take up too much time, but I am the regional representative for economic development for Central Texas. That means Kerrville in this area, that's me. Please, if there's anything that we can do, please reach out to me. I will be in the back. Yes, I'll be here for the after party as well. And like I said, we're here to help. And anything that we can do here at the governor's office, please let us know. And the next step, we're actually going to have a video and a message from the governor. So thank you.
is Governor Greg Abbott. Welcome to the Office of the Governor's Small Business Series. Thank you for taking part in this exciting event. Small businesses are truly the backbone of the Texas economy. In fact, our state is home to 3 million small businesses that employ nearly half of all working Texans. Texas is also a top state for women, minority, and veteran-owned businesses, and we lead the nation in small business growth. There is no question that because of our small businesses, Texas remains the best state in America to live, to work, and to raise a family. So thank you to all of these small business owners and the entrepreneurs for being here, as well as for your investment in your community, as well as in the great state of Texas. May God bless you in your endeavors, and may God forever bless the great state of Texas.